It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's lawn mowing season. If you're an adult and you have a nice yard, you want to keep it that way. You want to make sure when people come over, it's looking good and beautiful. You want them to leave your house saying, man, they had a really nice lawn. At least that's what guys think about. Like, man, see all that edging? No weeds in the yard either. It's just that time of the year. Welcome into the Luke Kelly Show. It's the Wednesday edition, April the 13th, 2022. I'm so excited that we're getting rolling. New podcasts coming out Mondays and Wednesdays. And I'm even more excited right now to just mow the yard. I knew that it was coming. The yard was starting to look a little shaggy. And I was telling myself, you need to get out there and you need to mow. And then Sunday, I came home from work. I see my neighbor outside. He was mowing his yard. And I was like, all right, now I most definitely have to do it. I ran inside, changed, put on some sweats, my yard mowing shoes. Yeah, I have those. If you don't have yard mowing shoes, you're doing it all wrong. You can't wreck those great pair of shoes that you have. Those are for going out. The old shoes that you used to wear out and about, maybe going to the gym, that you used to wear every day, those old shoes get turned into mowing shoes. There's no doubt about it. And if you're a dad, you probably are starting to find yourself maybe getting the New Balances or even the Nikes. The Air Monarchs, isn't that what they're called? The Nike ones? Now, I don't know what the New Balance ones are. They're like a number. I forget exactly what they are. But if you're a dad and you're not wearing those while you mow, you're missing out. I'm not a dad, so that's why I don't wear those. I have some old Nikes that are blue and green. And I tell you what, they don't really have that much like grass stains on them. I thought that there would be a little bit more just for the fact that I've wore them now for 2 years while I mow. But they're still good, in great shape. I wouldn't wear them out. They're definitely beaters now for sure. Because sometimes I miss a spot, especially in the backyard, of picking up my dog's poop. And then you have doo-doo all over it, and you try to wipe it off, but you never get all of it off. And yeah, got to store those somewhere special too. I store those in a basement and put them on a little table that we have, put them underneath there, and I wipe them off the best of my ability. But there is nothing like growing up, getting into your 30s, and realizing that you have a yard to mow. There's that pride that sets in. I want to have the best lawn on the block. It's hard to do. I see a lot of people put a lot of energy into having the best yard on the block. And it can be very expensive. Last year, I got a quote from a lawn care company to come out, fertilize it, and try and kill the weeds and all that stuff. And they were going to charge a lot of money. They're like, dude, you're just better off doing it yourself. But then there's other companies that actually specialize in that. This was more of like a landscaping company that I called for, and they don't do a lot of like seeding and stuff like that. They just said that you do a lot of mowing and garden beds and stuff of that nature. So I hadn't called anyone else. But I just got a flyer on my doorstep the other day from a company that was offering a service for new customers starting at $24.99 for them to come in and make sure that they kill the weeds and stuff like that. So I might do that. But who knows? Money's a little tight right now with starting a new job, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But my yard does have a lot of weeds in there, and I want to kill them. Like I said, I want to have the best yard on the block, which isn't hard to do. In my little neighborhood that I live in, there's not that many that have a great lawn. If you live in a subdivision, you might have a little bit more competition when it comes to having the nicest lawn in there because people just had fresh sod laid or maybe some fresh seed, and they're taking care of it from the beginning. This house that I live in has been here since the 60s, I think late 50s, early 60s. I forget what year it was built, but that's a lot of years that they've had grass out there and some years that weren't really treated all that well. So I got to make sure that I try and restore this grass. There's a lot of steps that I need to go to in order to get this grass to look good. If you have any recommendations, please let me know your recommendations for getting that grass to look great, killing those weeds without killing the grass. I would like to know that too, because the last thing I want to do is to actually put in a whole bunch of work and the lawn just die. That does not sound one bit of being cool at all. I would feel so bad. I would have to go to therapy over it. I would have to go talk to a person about, man, I thought I was doing the right thing, and now you need to talk me off the ledge because I can't grow grass. I can't do it properly. I would think that I would fail. That's a problem with me. If I'm not good at something right away, I view myself as a failure. I don't know why my brain is trained that way. I don't know if yours is trained that way, but it's really bad. But the things that I really look for right now, with not having the top tier line of grass in the neighborhood, I just want to have some straight lines, baby. And I like a diagonal looking line the most. I think it looks really sharp. And I have to say, I do have the best lines in the neighborhood, though. I make sure of it. I'm like, I need to get these things straight. I need to make sure everyone else in this neighborhood envies these lines. And I don't think anyone else does actually care about how great their lawn looks. Most of the people in my neighborhood have a service that come out and mow the yard. I think there's like 2 other people in the area in my little neighborhood that actually mow their yard. So I'm not going to get it to look as good as those that have professionals doing it. But for a semi-professional, I want those lines to look good. I want to have a nice edging, which I'm terrible at right now. I watched so many edging TikToks last year, thinking that, man, I'm going to be able to get my edges to look that good, that straight, that sharp of an edge every single time I butcher it. And when I tell you that I watch TikToks on Lawn Talk all the time, I mean, I could swipe for hours watching some people mow their yard, edge their yard. I could watch it. And I've gone on YouTube now to watch people edge, to see their techniques. And I can't execute it as well as they do. I want to be able to once in my life. And I know I'll get there. I didn't do that at my parents' home. I mowed the yard for a long time. When I felt like I started mowing at about 10 because my older brothers passed that off to me. And I did it for about 8 years. When I was living at my parents' house, I always mowed the yard just because I always loved it. But I didn't have a weed whacker. I didn't have an edger or anything like that. I just mowed. Tried to make the yard look presentable to everyone that was passing through in the neighborhood. We lived right across the street from a baseball field, so I wanted the stripes to look very good across the street from a baseball field. And back in the day, my dad used to run the Little League back in my hometown, and we actually used to take care of the baseball field as well. We'd have one brother that would be out on the tractor, the other of us raking the fields, making sure that it looked good that day, putting down the chalk. We would do those sort of things at the baseball field. So maybe that's why I care about taking care of a lawn so much, because I always appreciated going over to the baseball fields across the street from the house and always seeing it in tip-top shape. It doesn't look that way now, but it's just that sense of pride of what you were once able to do and then try to put that into your own life. And now, right now, for me, it's definitely making sure that I have a good-looking yard. I mean, it's an obsession. It really is. When you get over 30, that's your new obsession in life. Trying to make sure that your yard looks to be in tip-top shape. I think Nora kind of makes fun of me for it secretly. She might not ever tell me it, but I know sometimes when I'm like, hey, babe, how do those lines look? She giggles and always says, oh, yeah, they look great. And whenever you get a response like that from your partner, you know they really don't care. But they know that they can't let you down and just say, what? Yeah. But, you know, they have to put some sort of excitement into it. Like, yeah, they look really good, babe. That's the response that you want to get. If not, you feel like you wasted your time. And Nora's great at playing along with that. She really is. I feel like there's a lot of unspoken things that you're supposed to do for your partners in life. You're supposed to tell them that the yard looks good. If they do a little project around the house, you got to tell them it looks good. No matter what, because it's the effort that goes into it. And you don't want them to think that you don't appreciate their effort that they're putting into whatever they're working on. You want that to be reciprocated. But there's some rules of being in a relationship that I don't agree with at all. And I told you, I'm on TikTok all the time. I saw this lady saying that she had a wife hack for you when you're out at dinner. So if you're a husband, listen to this closely. And I really want to know what you think of this, or if you have a partner at all, about this lady's philosophy when they go out to eat.
Husbands, if you can break this down, you will crack the code and you will please your woman in a way you will never have even thought possible. When we go sit down at a restaurant and I look at my man in the eyes and I say, honey, what are you thinking about getting? What I'm doing is I am gauging whether or not one of your options is one of my options. And the best thing our husbands can say to us is, I don't know, honey, what 2 things are you looking at? And then you, as the husband, choose the one I didn't so that I can try both.
No, I do not agree with this at all. Don't try and play these games when you go out to eat. Order what you want. If you're struggling to decide on 2 things, go back to the restaurant and try that other thing. That's just like me. I always have this philosophy whenever it comes to a restaurant. I just don't try a restaurant once. Because maybe what I ordered that day just wasn't that good. Maybe I would have preferred something else on the menu. So I go back and try that. You got to give restaurants more than one chance. So my philosophy is get what you want. If you didn't like it, next time move on to the other thing. And it could be very good. You might like that and you're like, okay, this is my dish now when I go to this restaurant. I don't believe in sharing when you go out to eat. I don't like that. Now, Nora and I went out to Chewy's. If you have a Chewy's around you, this is the only time that you can share when you're out at a restaurant, is if they have like a 4-2 thing. Like we got a fajitas for 2. That's something that you share. If Nora were to get a chimichanga, because that's what she likes to get when she goes out to a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, I was thinking about getting some enchiladas, but sometimes enchiladas don't sit right with me, and sometimes I like my own enchiladas a little bit better than a restaurant's. So we just decided to go with the fajitas. But in that scenario, if we did decide to go and each order our own thing, I wouldn't have said, hey, Nora, could I try that? Because I know that I would be upset if she asked to try some of my food. It's like, no, I ordered this food because I wanted to savor in all the greatness of this food. Even if the food stinks, I'm going to eat all of that meal. Why? Because I'm paying for it. That's why. But another reason why I'm going to eat all of it is because I want to make sure that I'm full when I leave the restaurant. I don't have to stop and go somewhere else on my way home. Although I have done that once or twice. But that's like last resort. It has to be super bad for me not to be able to finish a meal. But I'm not going to sit there and mooch off of your food. I don't want you to sit and mooch off of my food. I feel like we need to do a better job of sticking to eat to what you ordered. So if you decided to get a chimichanga, you decided to get a cheeseburger, eat it. Eat all of your sides. The only time that you should be eating off of your partner's plate is if they say, yeah, I'm full. I'm not eating any of this anymore. Would you like some? That is an open invitation after they don't finish that for you to eat it. Those are my rules. Because listen, I do look forward to Nora saying, hey, I'm not going to eat any more of this. Do you want to finish it? Hell yes, I want to finish it. But it's not until I know she's done that I'll even look at her food. I'm trying to keep eye contact with her and with my food when I'm out at a restaurant. I don't know. It just fires me up. I get super mad when I see people do that. Or going out to eat and somebody's like, oh, can I try that? No, you can't try that. Well, I was thinking about getting... No. Let me enjoy everything about this dish. It really does fire me up, and I shouldn't get so fired up about it. But I'm passionate about getting what I want and eating it all. And I know it's about sharing when you're in a relationship, but I draw the line when I'm out to eat. I'm standing strong by my food. Look, we're both paying for this. I want to make sure I enjoy all of it. Man. I don't know. Like I said, it just fires me up. The only thing that you're sharing when you go out to a restaurant is an appetizer. Get some potato skins. What's another good appetizer that you like when you go out to eat? One that I really enjoy is getting if there's beer cheese with some pretzels. Oh, chef's kiss to those. And if they have a spicy mustard to go along with it too, then I'm hooked into that. Those are things that you share. Appetizers are shareable. Nothing else at a restaurant is shareable whatsoever. But I tell you who's going to have to share a lot coming up soon. Britney Spears' partner. Her boyfriend, I don't know what he is, Sam, he's going to have to share because Britney Spears announced the other day that she is pregnant. She posted it to her Instagram, and everyone is talking about it. And why is everyone talking about it? Because everyone loves Britney Spears. They're still captivated with her. I think she was in her conservatorship for 13 years, and since then, she's been posting a lot more to Instagram, and people are starting to wonder if she's okay. Hey, listen, she's now living life. She gets to do things the way that she wants to do. So if she wants to post on social media that she's pregnant, she's going to do it. I thought it was a little weird. She posted a stock photo to announce that she was pregnant, which made people believe that it wasn't real. I mean, I don't think she would fake something like that. I really don't. Because she doesn't need to fake a pregnancy in order to stay relevant. Britney Spears is probably one of the biggest people on Instagram right now. I don't know if that were actually to be true, but for those in my generation, yes, it is true because we grew up listening to Britney Spears' Baby One More Time and Toxic and all of her big hits, right? We loved her. We obsessed with her. And millennials were the ones that were out there fighting for her to get her freedom back from her dad and everything that he was doing to her. Millennials were fighting for that. Even some people in the younger generation were fighting for that too. But when you look at Britney Spears and what she's trying to do now, she doesn't need to fake a pregnancy in order to stay relevant on social media. She could post anything. She could post a dance and people are going to eat that up. She could, I don't know, just act like she's sweeping. I don't think Britney Spears has to sweep in her own house, but she's going to get a lot of likes on it. This pregnancy announcement that she posted on her Instagram from the time that I'm recording this has almost 1.9 million likes on it. Okay, anything that she posts is going to do well. Her partner posted something on social media as well. He had 172,000 likes on his post. But this is a long gap in between children for Britney Spears. Just think about this. Her kids are basically going to be more of aunts and uncles to this new baby. And I know sometimes there's relationships that sometimes your uncle might be younger than you. It's very rare that that happens, but there are cases of it. But I don't know. Brothers and sisters this far apart, because I don't even know how old her kids now are. The ones that she had with Kevin Federline. They have to be pretty old. I'm trying to look up their age. Let's see if I could Google this. Britney. It would help if I spelled Britney right. Britney Spears children's age. Let's see. The ones with Kevin Federline, they are 16 and 15 years old. That's going to be a huge age difference because both of them are September babies. So that means by the time the baby is due, let's see, I don't know exactly how far along Britney Spears is, but so by the time the baby's born, each of them is 17 and 16. Big difference in age. It's almost like, oops. But in this scenario, it's a little different for Britney Spears because she was under lock from her parents and couldn't really do anything, which is just crazy. But now she's out doing what she wants. What I really want is Britney Spears to go back out on tour. I would love to see Britney Spears in concert. I don't have a lot of money, but I would pay a good amount of money to go see Britney Spears. I always wanted to go and see Britney as a kid. I was in love with her. I think every teenager or every young kid was in love with Britney Spears, no matter if you were a male or a female. If you were 8 to 13 years old, you were superly obsessed. And then if you're a little bit over, you were still in love with them. Probably made a CD with a whole bunch of Britney Spears music on there. I mean, she's iconic. I remember watching, what was it, the VMAs? I remember it was an MTV award show. I don't know if it was the VMAs or the movie. What's the other one they do? The movie awards, the MTV movie awards. I don't remember which one it was, but all I remember is her and Madonna kissing, making out on stage. That was such a huge thing. That had the headlines all over the place. You probably went to school the next day and you say, oh man, did you see what happened on MTV last night? And that carried the conversation for about a week. I think it's funny though. I'm looking up things on Britney Spears right now, and I just typed in Britney Spears, and a story about Jessica Simpson popped up. I'm like, man, that's my childhood in back-to-back stories. I'm like, Jessica Simpson, loved her, loved Britney Spears, and I loved the Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey TV show that was on MTV. I think it was it Newlyweds? I don't remember what it was. It might have been Newlyweds, though. I watched that religiously. That was a really good show. But man, it's so crazy to see my youthful days and to see these ladies making headlines still when I'm 31 years old. It's okay, though. Takes me back to those days of watching TRL every single day when I got home from school to see what celebrity was going to be on the show with Carson Daly that day. Oh, you know what was really disappointing, though? If you watch TRL any day after school and Carson Daly wasn't hosting, you're like, man, this doesn't feel the same. Who was David Holmes, I think, or Dave Holmes? I forget which one. If he was hosting, I'm like, oh, man, this guy is such a dry human. Why couldn't he be a little bit more entertaining? I hated when he hosted, but I didn't mind when Nick Lachey's now wife used to host. Vanessa, I didn't mind when she would host because she was fun and energetic. But if it was that Dave Holmes dude, I was out. That would ruin my day. That would ruin the rest of my day. I'd be like, I can't do homework now. Wasn't able to watch TRL. Maybe if I would have used that as an excuse to my teachers for not doing my homework, be like, hey, listen, man, Carson Daly didn't host TRL yesterday. That's why I couldn't be productive. I was just very upset afterwards. Maybe my teachers would have been a little bit more understanding. But I don't think my teachers would have. I had older teachers really throughout like elementary school. It wasn't until like I got into junior high and high school that I started to have younger teachers. But yeah, so they probably wouldn't have understood. Because TRL was top notch in the late 90s, early 2000s. And And I remember a few years ago, MTV tried to bring it back, and it just wasn't the same. I tried to give it a go, but it wasn't the same. It's hard to replicate some like shows from back in the day. I remember American Gladiators was trying to be renewed back in like the 2010s, maybe sometime in there, early 2010s, and The Rock was a host. Or maybe it was Hulk Hogan. No, Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali were a host on that show, and it was terrible. And I would rather watch the old school American Gladiators. That was a good one. So sometimes you just can't bring shows back and have them hit the same way. There's some shows that can. Fuller House was just ultimate cheese. I just watched it for nostalgic purposes. But that's why they have things like Hulu now, where you could go back and watch those old shows whenever you want. I haven't seen American Gladiators, though, on any streaming services. Once I do find that, I'll probably binge that on an off day that I have. Because it was such a good show. Loved it. Loved Joust. I loved the game. I forget what the game was called when they would shoot the like Nerf gun and they would try to hit the target out on the center to try and stop the game, and they win in advance and stuff. And they had the gladiator that was shooting tennis balls at them. Forget what that game was called, but that was a fantastic game. Man, there were so many good ones on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and try to find it somewhere. If you know where you can find American Gladiators on a streaming service, let me know, because I need to watch that so bad. All right, you have a great rest of your week. Have fun. Stay safe. I'll talk to you on Monday. We'll have a new top 3 to talk about. What's going to be the top 3 subject? I have no idea, to be honest with you. Did baseball movies on Monday because baseball season kicked off last week. We'll see what else I'll count down on Monday, and I'll talk to you then here on The Luke Kelly Show.